Well, I was going to go cut my hair. Yes, I do this myself. But then I noticed we have some new official documents to go over. So let's get started. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. As you guys know from my last two videos, the Goncalves family is trying to do something with the gag order. With Kaylee's sister's most recent response to all the questions about this new motion hearing, it's a little confusing on the entire purpose of what they're trying to do. But now with these new documents, it also looks as if there's a whole bunch of media organizations that are also trying to get rid of this gag order. There has been 6 new postings on the official Idaho.gov website where all of the official documents that we go over on this channel are posted for you to see yourself. This very top one is called the Declaration of Olson in Support of Motion. And what this is a 46-page document that basically lists the intent with all of the reasons to vacate this gag order by the media. There's several companies on this, both radio and TV alike, and newspapers. Pretty much every media is definitely in on this little situation. And basically, there's a woman named Wendy J. Olson that works for a law firm called Stoll Rives LLP that is acting as counsel for these petitioners. And there is 7 exhibits labeled A through G that are included in this, which is most likely why it is 46 pages. We're not going to go through all of them completely because it's basically everything that we've already known. But I did want to stop and talk about number 9 on the 3rd page because it kind of gives some real reasons why, besides the legality part, they want this gag order lifted. And the very first one, which is 9A, is extremely interesting because it states, a victim's family wants to speak with the press about Mr. Kohberger's prosecution, but they feel bound by the gag order. Well, it can't be Kaylee's family because Olivia came out and straight up told us the family is not gagged. So which one of the victims' families could this one be? 9B states Major Christopher Paris of the Pennsylvania State Police told reporter Chris Ingalls that he could not answer whether police had launched any review of unsolved cases that could be linked to Mr. Kohberger's case because of the gag order. C. Moscow Mayor Art Bitch told reporter Erica Zuko that the city attorney advised he could not answer questions about the overall community healing in Moscow because of the gag order. Excuse me? You're using it as an excuse at this point, sir. Journalist Taylor Murfindersky. Public records requests were denied by the Latah County's Sheriff's Office, Moscow Police Department, Pullman Police Department, and Washington State Police Department because of the gag order. Gary Jenkins, Chief of Police at Washington State University, and Matt Young, Communication Coordinator for the City of Pullman, told reporter Morgan Romero that they could not answer whether Mr. Kohberger applied for a graduate assistant research position with the Pullman Police Department because of the gag order. The Moscow Police Department refused to advise a reporter from the Idaho Statesman how many cell phone towers are in the area near where the murders occurred, the size of Mr. Kohberger's cell, the size of the Moscow jail, and the nature of Mr. Kohberger's meals because of the gag order. Okay. Y'all know y'all making this like an excuse thing, right? This is stupid. I understand now. I think I understand now. Law and crime reporter Anjanette Levy was denied access to Kohberger's booking video from the Latah County Sheriff's Office because of the court's non-dissemination order. I kind of get that one. Now, we go down to page number... Is it number 7? Number 7 is where Exhibit A starts. And it basically is just the first time that the defense asked for the gag order, because it's true. And I have had some people mention this in the comments, and it doesn't seem to be something that a lot of people are mentioning. But it states right here, Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his undersigned attorneys, all that legal bullshit, then hereby stipulate to the issuance of a non-dissemination order prohibiting attorneys, investigators, and law enforcement personnel from making any extrajudicial statement, written or oral, concerning this case, other than a quotation from or reference to, without comment, the public records of the court in this case. So yes, it was Bryan's team that wanted the gag order in the first place, but honestly, it was going to happen anyway. Now, what's interesting about C is that it has to do with the Zoom meeting that was done to try to handle this gag order already. And I guess something that I didn't pay too much attention to was all the blacked out spots, because who is the blacked out spot? Because whoever one of the blackout spots is somebody that the Goncalves family's attorney was getting into arguments with here. And I don't know if this has already been discussed elsewhere and it was figured out who is blacked out or not. But look right here on page 15 of this part. The following attorneys were present and attending by Zoom: Bill Thompson, prosecutor; Ashley Jennings, senior deputy prosecutor; blank, attorney for blank, and then another name blanked out, co-counsel, attorney for blank, another blank name, attorney for blank, then Shannon Gray, attorney for Goncalves family, and Ann Taylor, public defender for Bryan Kohberger, along with Judge Marshall's clerk, Jennifer Oliphant, that was present in this meeting. And then if you go down to page 16, there's more blackouts, where one of the blacked out names responded that he expects his client blank will be a witness in this case. And then it says he also expects that the decedent's families will be witnesses in this case, since it is a potential capital case and they would be called to testify. He has handled numerous homicide cases, including capital cases, during his career. He assured the court he has advised his client blank to decline all media and will continue to do that. He and his client will not comment at... Now this sentence is a little screwed up. It says he and his client and will not comment, as it would be inappropriate to comment. That should have been double checked. That threw my whole brain for a loop. Then it states that Judge Marshall appreciates this person's perspective, whoever this person is. And then on the next page, where it states that this person and the Goncalves family's attorney get into a little tiff, because it states, blank reminds Mr. Gray that he is creating a record by his media interactions. His statements are being captured by the defense. All of his statements impact the case and advise Mr. Gray to exercise restraint. Mr. Gray takes issue with so-and-so's advice. Judge Marshall stops any arguments. Then again at the bottom of this, even more blacked out stuff. Blank states that she advised blank not to comment. She takes blank's position. So I'm guessing the first blank that got into it with the Goncalves' attorney is a male and probably represents one of the roommates, but we don't know. And this other one is a female that agrees with this unknown male's stance while he's arguing with the Goncalves' attorney. That's real confusing. If I read the Nevada paperwork right, then Bethany's attorney, I believe, is a female. So whoever this male is in here, I don't know who he's representing, but it's all blanked out. The rest of the exhibits is just stuff that we've already seen from whenever the Goncalves' attorney first tried to, or I guess secondly, tried to put some information in about what was going on with the gag order, because it states that it was after that January Zoom meeting. But then Exhibit F is interesting because it's Whitcomb 911 versus Nash Holdings, which is the Washington Post and the New York Times. Oh yeah, this seems to be about the 911 call. Okay, this is interesting because it states that Whitcomb 911 is a Washington Public Records Act agency and is employed by the Moscow Fire Department, the Moscow Police Department, and EMS services for the city of Moscow. Then it states November 13th, 2022, 911 call. On November 13th, 2022, Whitcomb 911 received a 911 call from a caller located in Moscow, Idaho, requesting assistance to 1122 King Road, located in Moscow, Idaho. Whitcomb 911 recorded the 911 call. Based upon the information provided in the 911 call, Whitcomb 911 dispatched the Moscow Police Department to 1122 King Road. Public records request. Okay. On January 10th, 2023, the Washington Post submitted a public records request to Whitcomb 911. The Washington Post requested a copy of the 911 call placed from 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho on November 13th at 11:58 a.m. On January 16th, the New York Times submitted a public records request to Whitcomb, asking for the same thing. On January 20th, KXLY submitted for the same thing. Whitcomb 911 reasonably anticipates that there will be an additional public records request for the 911 call made from 1122 King Road on November 13th. Okay, so they're stating that under the Washington Public Records Act, they should have been able to get a copy of this 911 call, and honestly, that's probably true. But there's this huge controversy going on right now because of the gag order, so this almost looks as if, hey, we shouldn't be held to this gag order. We should be able to get this 911 call because of the Washington Public Records Act. And then it's just copied paperwork for the other dissemination order information that we've already gone over. And then there's 2 memorandums in support of motion to intervene that are posted next. And it's basically just a summarization of what that 46-page document is. Honestly, both of these are. Then there's a motion to intervene, which is basically the same exact thing. It's just another summarization of what they're asking for. Then we have a motion to vacate the amended non-dissemination order, and this one is 3 pages long. And again, it's just this one page. This same paragraph seems to kind of be in all of these, so let me just go ahead and read this because it seems to be the most common verbiage so far. Last week, the Idaho Supreme Court held a vague, overbroad, unduly restrictive, or not narrowly drawn gag order is an unconstitutional obstacle to interveners gathering information about this case. In petition for writ of mandamus or writ of prohibition, but on procedural grounds, the Idaho Supreme Court decided that this court should have a chance in the first instance to vacate the amended non-dissemination order entered January 18, 2023. Following the Idaho Supreme Court's guidance and for the reasons provided in the accompanying memorandum, interveners now ask this court to vacate the gag order because it is vague, overbroad, unduly restrictive, and not narrowly drawn. And this very last one is a notice to appear. And what it looks like is it has all of the company names listed, and I'm going to assume every single company is going to have someone legally representing them whenever this happens, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a date for this, right? Probably. Unless it's just done secretly like it was before and they just released some new regulations or a new amended order or whatever. But yeah, that's basically all this was. It was a whole lot of dead trees for a lot of the same stuff. But it is interesting that we're seeing that so many people had lawyers so quickly, if you know what I mean. Because those crossed out names, that's all stuff from back in January. And some of that stuff was dated on like January the 3rd. And then the arguments happened on January the 18th. And this was a male that was telling the judge that he knows his client is going to end up having to be a witness in court. But then farther down, we see the female lawyer being talked about, and I'm pretty positive that that's Bethany's. So I guess logic would just say that that male attorney that's arguing with the Goncalves' attorney is probably Dylan's. I don't know. But that's the updates. What do y'all guys think about all this crazy stuff happening all of a sudden? We have 23 days until this motion hearing. I'm finally gonna go shave my head. See y'all.